going on, guys? So today I have a iPod 4th generation. I don't get too many of these very often. About the cutoff that I usually get is the 5th generation, but every once in a great while I will get the 4th gen, really old school version one. I believe this is the 20 gigabyte, yep, and this is the U2 version. So what's going on with this one is the owner is talking about hard drive problems, and they don't even want me to diagnose it. They just want me to replace the hard drive with a larger SSD. They want to go up to 128 gigabytes, and they also want me to replace the battery while I'm at it. So yeah, let's get started. This is just like any other iPod. You gotta stick your spudger in here, or whatever device you're using, and release these clips. These are a lot easier than the newer ones. Oops, hitting my camera. Okay, so in all of my other videos I say resist the temptation to flip the iPod open like a book because you'll rip the battery cable. Well, guess what? In this one, you can just open it like a book. Do be careful of this cable right here. This is your aux port cable right here. And then right here we have our hard drive. And then the battery is right here. So since we're removing the hard drive, let's go ahead and just get rid of that right now and free up some space. So this is a little bit different than the ZIF adapter connector, ZIF connector on the other iPod classics, the newer ones. I'll show you the difference here. So this one, you got these little holes. You got these connectors here that just slide into the iPod right there. So you see those little holes. And then with this one, this is the ZIF connector where you put the ribbon cable in and then you just slide the latch down. So that's the difference between those two. Okay, so the next thing, we want to undo the aux cable. That just pops up. Do be careful with them. Sometimes you can actually rip this plastic piece off, exposing the pins below, and you'll need to get a different aux port. Talking from experience, I have definitely done my fair share of those, and it's always kind of a sigh of relief once I get it off and it's not destroyed. Okay, so the next thing we need is the battery. That is this guy right here. So then really you just pull up on it, and there you go. Now to get this out, this cable is run underneath the motherboard right here. So there is a screw right there. Sorry, it's hard to see. A screw right there that we need to remove out so we can lift this motherboard up to get the cable out from the bottom. Pardon my fat hand in the way and my screwdriver. Okay, so that's out. Now, this side just kind of lifts up like so, just barely enough to slide this through, maybe. There we go. There we go. It just pulls out like so. Okay, so now we have our parts and pieces. I have our Tarkin board, our 128 gigabyte flash, and our replacement battery. So we want to put this guy right back in here. There we go. This is not down all the way though. I'm going to take this other screw out just to make it a little bit easier so I'm not putting so much pressure. There we go. There we go. That feels more home now. Okay, so now we can lift this up. Maybe. Come on, there we go. Okay, so now we'll put our screws back in, and we're not going to plug the battery back in until we have everything else hooked up. Get these screws here in. Let me move that cable over just a little bit. Okay, so that screw is in. Let's get this one back in. Okay, let's get our drive open. Okay, so this one is different than the other ones. Like I said before, this does not have the ZIF adapter. It's got the pins. So there are some adapters that you can buy, and actually I might have one. Show you the difference real quick. I have another one for another job that I got to do after this. Okay, so you see the difference, like I showed you on the other hard drives. This one is the one with the pins, this is the one with the ZIF adapter. And what they also have, instead of this one, is they have this guy, which is an adapter that plugs into this ZIF adapter here and then plugs into here. Do not buy these. They do not work. If they do, I must be an idiot, because I don't know, I've bought probably a dozen of these and I have never ever been able to get them to work. And what I always end up doing is I'll buy like 2 or 3 of them thinking, oh, maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong and it's shorting them out or something, I don't know, and then they never end up working, and then I always end up buying this. So if you're working on a 4th generation iPod, don't buy this crap. It is made by Tarkin. They make some fantastic products. Like I said, it's probably me doing something wrong, but cut out the middleman and just get yourself one of these where it's already built in. You don't have to worry about another point of failure. You're just good to go. Okay, rant over. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 128 gigabyte drive, and we're going to stick her in here. Good. Okay, so as I've said in many of my other videos, that if this iPod were to take a fall head first and this hits down with enough force, this SD card can just slide right out of here. So normally I like to tape it. Put a little tape down there. Good. And then the Tarkin adapter comes with these little foam pads. I usually like to take one of these foam pads and just stick it in front of the SD card, just to, if it does fall, to give it something to kind of stop up against. Okay. So now we got our pins. Sorry, see if I can zoom in so you guys can see this a little better. The pins all just slide in like that. Maybe. Yeah, no, that should be right, because this little guy right here should fit right through there, so it might just be a little tight, making me nervous. I don't want to force it. So this guy right here is not lining up with this hole here. I don't know if it's bent. All right, hang on a sec, guys. The camera is right in my best view, so I'm gonna mess with this off camera just for a second. Okay, I'll be right back with you. Okay, I was able to get it in, so we are good to go there. So this just lays flat like so. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to reconnect Fuck. So you remember when I said, be very, very careful removing the auxiliary port. Yeah, I ripped it off. I just now realized that. I gotta order a new motherboard for this person. Ugh. Okay. I am back with a replacement motherboard after I did something really stupid. I you know, I still can't believe I did this. After, actually, literally, as I was telling you to be careful about removing the aux port clip, be very careful because you could tear the component off of the motherboard. Literally, as I was telling you to be careful not to do that, I actually did it. And what's even worse is I didn't even realize I did it until I went to put it back together later on. So, yeah, wow. I've been doing this for 12, 13, 14 years, something like that now, and that is, well, it's not a first ripping one of these off, but that's a first for me, telling you not to rip it off as I'm ripping it off, and I didn't even notice it. So, wow. Okay. So, just to show you guys exactly what I did, this black piece of the connector here is actually part of the motherboard. It's not part of the clip. So, let me see if I can remove this. It's tough. It's a little difficult to get out. It's only held on here by these little tiny pins. There it is. So, yeah. Smooth on my part, huh? Okay, so, like I said, oh, hello. Like I said earlier, I have the replacement motherboard, and here is the old motherboard. I'm gonna undo this and swap it all out. Which this sucks because this was kind of a pain in the butt to get in. Come on. Swear to God, don't break this too. Okay, now that looks okay. I don't care if I break anything else on this motherboard. This one's going to the garbage anyway. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Let's start with getting our screws undone. Zoom in here just a little bit. So we got a screw here. I apologize again for my chubby digits being in the way. Actually, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and run through this at high speed. See you in a sec. Okay. Oops, gotta undo the click wheel. Okay, so let's get this guy put back in. The LCD just kind of fits. Whoops, helps if I line it up with the camera, right? Fits just right there in those tabs there, there, and there. And then this cable right here goes into here. And this cable was a little bit difficult for me to get last time, so hopefully I'm a little smoother at it this time. Apparently not much smoother. I think that's all the way in. Now we can close this tab down. Hopefully it's in. I had a little bit of trouble with it last time. I had it in, but it must not have been lined up correctly because the click wheel would not work. I had to take the whole dang thing apart again and then try to reattach it. Okay, so next we need to run our battery cable underneath the motherboard here. Then it will kind of bend up and then end up right here in the clip. I'm really surprised that I remember the first time I opened one of these up, I saw it just kind of tucked under the motherboard here. I thought that somebody had, did the upgrade, did an upgrade and just kind of half-ass put it there. But that's actually the way that every single one of these has been. It kind of blows my mind. It just kind of seems like the battery cable was an afterthought. When they designed this thing, it was like, oops, what do we do with this? Nah, just tuck it under the motherboard. I'm going to throw a screw right here to hold this down. Alrighty, so let's put the rest of these screws back in. And I will fast forward this as well. Okay, so let's get the hard drive in. And so this thing is just not lined up. Let's try that again. Let me just make sure that none of the pins are bent. No, pins look good. Okay, well, this is kind of against what I normally do, but I might even did it in the previous video, but I'm going to put this in off camera. My camera that I'm using to record this is like right in my line of sight, and I'm having kind of a hard time seeing, so I'm just going to put this in real quick off camera.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, I am fed up with this cable. I am actually going to steal the one off of the broken one. Clip just rides up, and this should just pull out like that. It's not in as far as I would like it to be, but I don't want to force it. I'm worried I'm going to break it. So, on the sides here, you can see that there's pins kind of protruding a little bit, but as I work further this way, it's like it's not getting all the way through. All we're doing here is getting the pins through this connector, which is connected to the board. So really, I think as long as I'm through the back side here, which you can kind of see from underneath right there that I am, it's just not going through the other side of the board, which, I think it should be okay, but let's test it and find out, I guess. I swear to God, if I screwed up this board, I'm going to be so pissed. And it would be yet another thing to tell the owner that, I messed something else up. I think I'm losing his faith in me. I'm losing my faith in myself at this point. Holy crap. Okay. Well, let's do the other part that I clearly had trouble with, which, hello, stay. Put this tape back on. Okay, let's do the other part that I was clearly having trouble with, which was the aux port. I'm sure I can get it in here without breaking it, but hopefully I don't need to take it back apart, because that is the problem. Yeah, and easy. Easy peasy. Okay, now all we have to do is plug in the battery, which the battery, those little pins, they need to be facing the outside. So they need to be facing that way. Okay, there's that. And I'm getting the not seeing the hard drive thing. Son of a bitch. I ever tell you guys that I hate 4th gen iPods? These things are a gigantic pain in the ass. Okay, back again. 3rd time's the charm, I think now. I've lost count. Okay, so it's been about a week, and I kind of lost track of where exactly we were with this. I mean, I know the gist of what was going on. I'll just recap on that one real quick. Okay, so like an idiot, I broke the aux port. You think you can kind of see the pin hanging out there. I broke the aux port off of the motherboard, the replacement motherboard, literally while I was saying, be careful, don't break the aux port off the motherboard. And I didn't even notice it until way later. So I ordered a replacement motherboard, got all that taken care of, and then went to put the drive back in, and don't know what happened, but the drive didn't work. I ordered a new drive. This has been a tough one. 4th generation iPods are not my favorite, and this is one of the many reasons. There's just too many easily breakable parts. I mean, all the iPods have easily breakable parts, and maybe my dislike for this iPod is just because I don't get them very often. Not very many people have this generation of iPod anymore. Usually it's 5th, 6th, or 7th. Very rarely is there a 4th. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the battery here. We don't want to mess with anything at all while we have power connected, so disconnect that. Now we're going to get rid of this. Pulling that straight off. I'm going to dislodge the SD card. I'm going to set that aside. Now here's our replacement. I was actually debating on doing this now or doing it later. The owner of this has been waiting way too long for this iPod. You know, me and my shenanigans. Okay, got the cable in. So let's put in the SD card. And we'll finagle this guy back in here. Oops, if I do it the right way. Okay, moment of truth. Drum roll. Okay, sorry. Battery back in. Please, oh please. Okay, so I got the drive in. I got it restored with iTunes, which is awesome. Right after I did that, I realized that I accidentally gave them the 256 gigabyte drive that I was testing with previously instead of the 128, but you know what? At this point, I don't care. It's synced, and that's all I care about right now, so I'm completely fine with it. Not to mention, they have been waiting a little bit extra time for this because of my screw-up, so you know what? I'll give them a little bit of a free upgrade, so I'm fine with that. So I synced it with iTunes, put some music on it. Actually, they wanted me to pull their music library off of their old iPod and put it on this one. I got about half of it synced. So it's getting late, and I got an early day at work tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to pick this back up tomorrow and finish syncing everything. But let's do the moment of truth right now. Let's make sure everything actually works. Then I can just sync the rest of the music tomorrow. Okay, headphones in. Click wheel works, so that's great. Center button works. Do some AC/DC. Back in black, why not? Both headphones work. Play pause works. Next works. Previous works. And the hold button works. Alright, well, let's close this bad boy up. Okay, and then like always, got to do the due diligence and make sure everything is working. Actually, shit. It rattles around there a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that. I should have put my my foam pads in. Let's open it up one more time. Nice and gently. We'll just stick some foam pads on the back of the flash upgrade. Oh shit, don't pull, don't pull. Okay. Come on. I think I'm just gonna double these up. That should be enough to hold it down. Maybe okay. Yep, no shaking now. Okay, so one more time, due diligence. Let's just make sure everything is in fact working. Play works, next works, yep, next works, previous works, menu works, and the hold switch still works. All right. Oh man, this one has been a long time coming. I am very happy to have this one done. Alrighty, that is it. Thank God. That was a doozy. I'm going to bed. Everybody have a good night.